In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to integrate Monday.com with SharePoint in a smooth and straightforward manner. This guide will walk you through each step of the process, providing practical advice and troubleshooting tips to ensure a successful integration. Let's dive in and make the most out of both these powerful tools. First things first, let's begin by navigating to the Zapier homepage. Zapier is a fantastic tool for connecting different apps and automating workflows, and it's going to be our bridge between Monday.com and SharePoint. Once you're on the homepage, you'll see a variety of options, but what we're interested in today is the Create button. This is where the magic starts, as it allows us to create a new Zap, which is essentially an automated workflow between two or more apps. After clicking Create, the next step is to click on Zaps. This option will take you to a page where you can begin setting up your specific workflow. Here's where it gets even easier. Instead of manually searching for the apps you want to connect, simply type in Connect Monday and SharePoint. Zapier is designed to make this process as user-friendly as possible, and by directly searching for our goal, we'll save a lot of time. Once you've found the ready-made connector between Monday.com and SharePoint, click on Add All Steps to Zap. This is a neat shortcut that automatically adds all the necessary steps for integrating the two platforms without needing to configure each step manually. Now it's time to select a trigger event from Monday.com. A trigger is an event in one app that starts the workflow. It could be anything from a new task being created, a status being updated, or a specific date being reached. After selecting your trigger, Zapier will prompt you to log into your Monday.com account. This step is crucial as it allows Zapier to access your account and carry out actions on your behalf. Next, let's configure the trigger event. This involves specifying exactly when your Zap should run. For instance, if you choose a trigger event like new task, you'll need to specify which board in Monday.com this applies to. Configuration is all about making sure Zapier knows when and how to start the integration workflow you're setting up. After setting up your trigger, don't forget to click on Find a Contact. This action ensures that the data being passed from Monday.com to SharePoint is associated with the correct records or items. Moving on, the next step is to select an action event in SharePoint. Think of the action as the result you want from your Zap. In our case, it could involve creating a new item in a SharePoint list or updating an existing one whenever our trigger event occurs in Monday.com. You'll need to log into your SharePoint account, much like we did with Monday.com, to grant Zapier the necessary permissions. After logging into SharePoint, we'll need to configure the action. This involves specifying exactly what happens in SharePoint when the trigger event occurs in Monday.com. For instance, if your action is to create a new list item, you'll need to specify which list to use and map out how the data from Monday.com should be entered into SharePoint's fields. Before we wrap up, it's essential to test the connection between Monday.com and SharePoint. This step verifies that everything is set up correctly and that data can move smoothly between the two platforms. Testing helps catch any issues before you finalize and activate your workflow. Finally, once you're confident that everything is working as intended, click Publish. Congratulations, you've just automated a workflow between Monday.com and SharePoint. Remember, the beauty of Zapier lies in its flexibility. This integration can be customized in countless ways to fit your specific needs. Perhaps you want to trigger different actions based on the status of tasks in Monday.com, or filter tasks to only sync certain types. Explore, experiment, and tweak your Zap to perfection. That's a wrap for today's tutorial on integrating Monday.com with SharePoint using Zapier. With this setup, you're well on your way to boosting productivity by automating repetitive tasks between these two powerful platforms. If you have any questions or need further assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. Happy zapping!